Hey there guys, and welcome to another FPV guide video. I've got a new product to show you today, which is really not that new because I know it's been out on the market for almost a year. For some reason, HUBSAN did not send me one till just recently. However, here it is, and of course I'm gonna take a look at it. So I'm looking at, sorry, wrong side. This is the right side, and this is the HUBSAN X4 FPV brushless. It's actually the 501S. So let's take a look at this. What is specific and interesting about it is it's a dirt cheap GPS enabled FPV or video recording platform. Very inexpensive and super easy to fly, and available in two versions. The $250-ish standard version that comes with a receiver and a screen, and also the Pro version with a slightly slicker receiver and screen for about $350. So let's take a look at that. There it is, guys. Let's take a look. That was the manual. All right, so before we move on, here's a disclaimer warning. You know, all the usual stuff. Don't take this in the bathtub with you. Don't try to shave with this. Don't mow the lawn with it, and don't groom the dog with this thing. Next, HUBSAN manual. Really, this is super easy. There is not a whole lot of stuff to know in here, and I'm gonna be telling you about most of it as we walk through this. Unlike a lot of recent products I've seen that comes in hard foam cases, the 501 comes in a blister pack, you know, like a vacuum molded blister thing. If you turn it over, you can kind of see the bottom here, and here's the top. So we're just gonna yank the lid off and get rid of that. So there you go, that's actually the product right here. I love this stealth black look here. And let's take a look at the components. Starting up on top here, we find the charger. This is like, goes straight in the wall, a 110 plug, and on the other end we have a little power thing, and then we have the little charger here. You plug the cable into that and you are ready to go. Now, we're used to seeing little batteries on inexpensive stuff with a JST plug. However, take a look at this. This is not a JST plug. For some reason, HUBSAN did not go with an XT plug, which I feel would have been a much better choice. However, who cares? We got a 2S, so 7.4 volts, 2700 milliamp battery right here. And it actually works really good. I flew it, I get about 15-minute plus worth of flying out of it. Now, on the downside, this little charger here has a hard time charging this battery. It's just a lot bigger than what this thing can haul. So this takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to charge this battery. This is 2S, so if you look at the end of the charger, you will see the 2S charging balance plug, and you just basically plug the balance plug right in there, plug this into the wall, and then you're charging. So it is super easy to operate. There's really nothing to it. Of course, I've said it before, if you buy a multi-rotor, make sure you get extra batteries, because the batteries are where all the fun is at, and nobody can fly just one battery. Now, once you get these batteries, remember, you can use any off-the-shelf regular powerful charger to charge these things. You just need the dongle or the pigtail that goes from here to this battery. So just order that by the pictures on Amazon or eBay and you're in business. And I'm gonna put a link for that dongle down in the text below the video. These kind of things are about $30 to $50 on the internet, and they will charge your battery in probably about 15 to 20 minutes. That is a lot faster than an hour and a half. So don't be stuck, get out there and playing, get a real charger, and you'll be flying really quickly. Let's just get to the real product. This is the 501, and on the website they call this the Night Stalker. It's also available in white, but quite frankly, this black, dull black finish is just damn right sexy. It's a cool little aircraft. Looking at the box, you will see that there's 2 sets of props here. There's 4 on each side, and that's basically twist-on props, so they're really easy to use. The other important thing here, I like kits that ships with 2 sets of props, because you know you're gonna be blowing through some props when you get your kit and you're going out to start learning to fly this thing. So double sets of props is a good thing. Thumbs up to HUBSAN for that. In the kit, we also find a little motor lock thingy. Let me show how that's used. Okay, to be honest, it actually took me a minute to figure out why I needed the little motor lock thing. I mean, I've never needed this before, but then I started looking at the motors and I realized I can't actually get hold of the motor. So let me show you how we put the props on. We just basically grab the arm, stick the propeller on, and I'm putting my finger down here to lock the motor a little bit. There, it's all the way down. The motor lock tool just goes straight down here. Now I have a good hold of it, and now I can continue to torque the propeller down. Done deal. Propeller is locked on. I'm gonna repeat and do this with all the other motors. I don't know if you noticed this, but the propellers on the HUBSAN is actually running reverse, or the opposite direction of what we are used to. Normally the motors on the end of an aircraft turns like this, but look at the propellers here. On the HUBSAN they go this way around. So that's different. If you're already flying other aircraft, you'll notice it. If you're not, you'll just get used to installing them exactly like this. Here we have it. Up on top here is the GPS receiver on this aircraft. And down in front here you see the little 1080p camera. It's actually a fairly decent quality, but I think calling it a 1080p is maybe a little bit optimistic. It doesn't really matter the exact specifications of the video. The video file that comes out of here are 1080p, as in 1920 by 1080 pixels. Turning the aircraft over, down here in the bottom you will see the little micro SD card slot. So you basically just insert a micro SD card right here and push it in, and now it's in place and you're ready to fly. Now I learned something the hard way. Make sure you install the micro SD card before you turn on the aircraft. I tried installing it afterward, but the aircraft did not recognize the micro SD card. So just make sure the card is put in place before you turn on the aircraft. Now, like I mentioned before, this particular box comes with the Pro controller, but the 501S is actually available with a smaller, more compact and very ergonomic controller. That's the $250 package. This package here comes with the Pro controller. The Pro controller have actually been one of my favorite HUBSAN controllers for the longest time. They had this already when they had the original HUBSAN FPV airplane. It was like a teeny little $200 airplane. It was super easy to fly, and it came with this same controller. This same controller is super ergonomical. It's easy to hold. You got the video in the middle between the 2 sticks, and up here on top they have you obviously upgraded the video link significantly. This is a monster size patch antenna, and over here they have the 2.4 gigahertz control link. So a quick look at the switches on top. One of the things that's unique about HUBSAN, put them down. Whereas most other radios requires all the switches up. Now, having them down, if you want to start out flying with GPS lock, you want to push this switch that says GPS up. If you need to do return to home, this is the switch over here where it says home. Push that one up, and now the aircraft will return to home by itself and try to land. The 2 other important switches when you're shooting video is this 2 down here, the exit and the enter. If you press enter, it's going to start video recording. If you press exit, it's going to take a still shot. You do have to stop the video recording before you can take a still shot. To arm the aircraft, that is to start the motors, you pull both sticks all the way down, and then you push them all the way out and hold them there until the motor starts. Then you can let go and they go back to normal. To take off, you just push up gently on the left stick until the aircraft spins up the motor speed and pops off the ground. Once it's up in the air, you of course gotta use the right stick to move it right, left, forward, backwards. Now, the one thing I noticed taking off in GPS hold, once you're up in the air, you need to massage it a little bit for about 15 to 20 seconds, where you need to kind of keep maintaining the altitude. After that, it grabs the altitude and has really good altitude hold and GPS hold. For some reason, right when you take off, it is gonna need a little bit extra attention to maintain altitude. I'm guessing it has something to do with the change propeller speed and the barometer. And it's not really important because we're only paying about $250 for this setup in the entry-level model. I believe this model I'm looking at right here, the complete kit, is about $350. Now take a look at this video here. I shot that earlier today. It's a little bit windy, but not a whole lot. Still, you can see that it's recording nicely, it's holding its position nicely, and it's managing both the highlights and shadows nicely. It has a nice look to the video. Of course, the other thing you're seeing is the video is always moving. That's because this camera here is heart mounted. So whatever happens, it's tilted a little this way, tilted a little that way. You can see the video image is moving. That's obviously not a problem because this product is built as an FPV aircraft, but you can record this video. As you can see, I recorded it. So you can shoot some video if you're going to the beach with some friends and you just want some video of everybody on the beach playing volleyball. This aircraft can do that, and it has GPS hold, so you could stick it up there, make it record what you're doing and go play some volleyball yourself and get in the picture. If you do get yourself in the picture, don't forget to pick up the controller and land the aircraft before it runs out of power. To power up the aircraft, we're gonna open the gate in the back here like this. Here is the internal power plug, and we're gonna slide the battery in and all the way down, and we're gonna tuck in the little balance tap. Then we're gonna power up here, put these two together, and then I just kind of twist it a little bit, get it in here, and close the lid. Put it on a level surface and turn on the radio. Notice the rotation blinking lights right here. When you turn it on the first time, it's gonna want you to calibrate it. So you start out by doing a 360 degrees movement like this. There, finally, it's turned green. Geez, I thought I was gonna do it for all day. Secondly, turn it upside down and keep rotating until the lights goes off. I have no idea why it takes so many laps. There we go. While this is beeping, let's take a real quick look at the video interface here. Up here you can see the battery power, and you can also see the heading, 154 degrees. It has 0 meters altitude from where it started. And down here in the bottom, it says 0000000. That is because it does not have GPS indoor here. Now, like I said before, to start recording video, press down here, and now you can see up in the corner here, it has started recording. I'm gonna push on this again, and that stops the video. Now moving over on the other side here is the still photo. Push on that, and now we took a still photo. Well, you don't have to push again because one click is what takes a still picture. Now to follow up a little bit on the radio, when we start flying, make sure all the switches are in down position, and now if you're planning to fly in GPS mode, push the GPS button up. That is the position you want to have the switches in when you take off. To start flying, push the two sticks down and out. Hold them there until the motor spins up. Once the motors are moving, you can move the sticks back to the normal position, and you take off by simply pushing this stick up gently until the aircraft gets in the air. Keep pushing a bit so that it continues to go up to an appropriate height for your starting flight. Up here next to the GPS switch is the headless mode switch, or what I call intelligent orientation. If we put that switch up, now when you move the rolling sticks to the right or to the left, basically the aircraft is going to move to the right relative to you, regardless what way the aircraft is facing. So if you're out there and you can't really figure out what is right or left on the aircraft because it's gotten turned around, flip the headless mode up, and now this stick here is always going to be to your right and left. And if you want it to come back, you pull it down, that comes to you, push it up, that goes away. Now, as usual, the throttle goes up and down altitude, and going to the left or right on the throttle is going to spin the aircraft from the left or right accordingly. We have one more switch left, that is follow me. So if you're in GPS hold and put up the follow me, in follow me mode, the aircraft is going to be chasing you like a hungry dog. Basically what happens is it now maintains its position relative to the GPS signal in the radio. So the GPS of the aircraft maintains its relative position to the radio. I'm sorry, I know it's disappointing you, but it doesn't actually know who you are. It only knows who the radio is. So basically it's going to be looking at the radio, and if you move the radio, the aircraft is going to move with the radio. If you move it this way, that way, except for you should always have the aircraft about 30 feet away when you switch into follow me mode. If you do it too close, you can get some very unhappy experiences, because usually in follow me mode, an aircraft will try to back up to get a safe distance, and you don't want it to back into something by accident. Now, as you probably noticed in the beginning, HUBSAN did build the 501S as an FPV aircraft, and you know what? They were not kidding. So the first thing I had to do, of course, was try out my goggles, and guess what? I'm getting video. So that is bloody awesome. Here, let me see if you guys can see this. If you look in here, you can see there is video signal on. So turning the goggle recording on, you can see up on top, it shows you how much time is left on this particular memory card in the aircraft. Now, when I push start, you will see that now it starts counting the video recording. And moving this around a bit will easily show you that I look pretty goofy with my goggles on. But I can actually take myself a little selfie just using the camera in the HUBSAN. This may sound a bit hokey, but being able to use my FatShark goggles with the HUBSAN 501S is huge. And that is because when you buy one of these, you can pick up a pair of FatSharks and you're on your way to fly bigger and greater things in the future. What that means is the stuff you buy to play with this thing, you can use for all kinds of other stuff in the future, because FatShark is basically the industry-leading set of FPV goggles. So there you pretty much have it. The HUBSAN 501S is a very compact and a cool little aircraft. What's really unique about it is the $250 price for an aircraft with a controller that has a screen on it, and it has GPS hold, it has headless mode, and it's got follow me, and it's got return to home. So it's got all the main features of the bigger video drones, but in a $250 kit. Frankly, that is an amazing price for those features in a ready-to-fly piece of aircraft. You're gonna have a hard time finding anything else out there with the same features at that price point. Now, I really like, and unfortunately I really like the original controller that you can see in the picture here, and that's what's included in the $250 kit. But I also gotta tell you, the Pro version radio is really a comfortable radio. The 501S is basically the real deal. They push brushless motors on up here, so they're not going to wear out like a regular brushed motor. These things are going to keep going for a very long time and be flying fine. That is, assuming you don't crash the aircraft. I would love to see HUBSAN add to this concept and find a way to put a stabilized camera up in the nose here. Now, one thing I probably would adjust, so to speak. This camera here is looking down a little bit, and I would really like my flight camera to look up more. So maybe in the future, HUBSAN, you could make this camera adjust a little bit so that when you fly forward and the nose comes down, I still want to be able to see forward. You could make that with a gear that keeps the camera level with a little servo, or you could just make it so that I can push here and I can put the angle I want before I fly. But that's really not a big issue. I'm happy with this thing, and it's incredibly easy to fly for a beginner. So if you're looking for something super easy to fly that's gonna get you into the FPV and the video drone hobby, this is very likely the thing, because it comes with a controller with a screen, and you can go ahead and you can use FatSharks, which is the industry standard, meaning you can pick up FatSharks and you can use them with this unit and with whatever other units you may be buying in the future. So that's the HUBSAN 501S, and we're gonna have more stuff coming up, more reviews are coming, so make sure you click subscribe down in the corner here and stay tuned for more videos.